Hi, my name is Leon Bowler, and I am the founder of E4Effort and a former middle school teacher of 24 years. And this is PD Part 1 titled Two Metrics, Academic and Effort. PD Part 2 focuses on how to use the E4Effort system. This presentation is primarily about why teachers should assess and report student effort. But first, a quick overview. E4Effort is a three-part system. Number 1, the effort scoring app, which the teacher uses from a smartphone, tablet, or Chromebook. In this example, students are being scored on their readiness at the start of a class or activity. Most students can be scored using the Score All Students button. Scores from the effort scoring app are sent to our servers where they are organized into tables and graphs on number 2, the teacher dashboard, and number 3, student portals. Student portals can be thought of as report cards for effort that are always up to date. From their student portal self-management page, students can think about and score their own effort, which helps with motivation and the social-emotional learning aspect of setting and achieving positive goals. Presently, most classrooms provide a single metric to inform student performance, the academic metric. E4Effort provides a systematic way to add an effort metric. Together, these metrics provide a more complete and accurate picture of overall student performance. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the two metrics. The academic metric is used to inform student knowledge or skill level. The effort metric is used to inform student effort level. The academic metric is based on learning outcomes. The effort metric is based on student in-class effort. The academic metric is updated when scores are entered in an online gradebook. The effort metric is updated immediately whenever the scoring app is used. The academic metric provides future-based reinforcement to encourage student engagement. It's either stated or implied that classwork, discussions, activities, etc. are designed to help students succeed on future assessments. Whereas the effort metric provides immediate reinforcement to encourage student engagement. Feedback isn't delayed, as is often the case with grades. Effort is a leading measure that provides opportunity for immediate change by the student. To improve overall student performance, the effort metric should be presented and promoted as the academic metric's equal. When discussing student performance, teachers, family members, and administrators should ask students about both their grades and their effort percentages. If students and their stakeholders adopt the effort metric, and effort scoring is done on a regular basis, overall student engagement, attitude, and outcomes will improve. When using E4Effort, the effort metric consists of 4 different effort categories: ready, participation, on task, and behavior. There's also a category used for recognition. Students can earn effort awards through the recognition category. Effort awards include effort shares. Effort shares can be thought of as bonus points that are accumulated but not traded, bonus points that are traded, for example, missing assignments, or as currency in our optional paperless rewards program called buybacks. With buybacks, gold subscriptions, students can redeem their effort shares from their student portal for offerings made by the school or the teacher, usually privileges or supply items. The rewards option does increase student excitement and engagement. In addition to the 4 effort categories, teachers can create their own subcategories. Think of subcategories as separate scoring buckets attached to a specific category. One reason for creating subcategories is to be more descriptive of the type of effort you are scoring. For example, a science teacher may want to create an on-task subcategory called labs, so they can see if some students have higher or lower effort on lab days. And in the behavior category, the teacher may want to periodically highlight a certain type of behavior, so they let their students know that this week they will be scoring student overall behavior with an emphasis on how well students respect each other, the teacher, and school property. Create subcategories in the participation category for occasions in which you want to select one or more students randomly, and over time you want to give each student a turn. Back to effort shares briefly. After 5 days of scoring, for each effort category, E4Effort code will automatically send effort shares and badges to students who meet or exceed effort challenge milestones. In the E4Effort system, the effort metric is also known as the overall effort percentage and is a weighted average of the 4 effort categories. The default weights are ready 20%, participation 20%, on task 30%, and behavior 30%. A teacher can change category weights from settings in the teacher dashboard. If a teacher does not want to use one or more categories, they would set that category's weight to 0 and adjust the other category weights to sum to 100%. What does the literature say about emphasizing student effort? I will make brief comments on 3 of these books and go deeper into a 4th. For more references on student effort, see the 9-page article on our website titled, "The Academic Metric Needs a Partner." In the book Grit, the author found that talent does not predict achievement. Achievement is more accurately linked to a special blend of passion and persistence she calls grit. After 10 years of thinking about the psychology of achievement, she came up with 2 simple and linked equations: talent times effort equals skill, and skill times effort equals achievement. The author uses examples of a number of famous people, one of which is John Irving, who is dyslexic and throughout his school years was always behind his classmates in both reading and writing. But through persistence, he built up his writing skills and then used his writing skills to write stories. His tenacity towards rewriting original story drafts was key to his later success. He is quoted in the book as saying, "I came to appreciate that in doing something over and over again, something that was never natural becomes almost second nature." John Irving has published over a dozen books, 5 of which were adapted to film. For his school example of grit, consider a science learning target that states, students will be able to accurately measure the density of a mystery object. First, students need to apply effort towards learning necessary measuring and math skills. Later, they use those skills and effort to measure and report the density of their mystery object. E for effort can be used to promote and assess grit. In the book Mindset, we learn that praising students for their ability, "Wow, impressive, you must be naturally smart at blank," promotes a fixed mindset, whereas praising students for their effort, "I really like the focus of this group," promotes a growth mindset. E for effort can be used to encourage a growth mindset. In the book Teach Like a Champion, 49 Techniques that Put Students on the Path to College, the author was asked by a principal, "If I can teach my teachers to do only one of these techniques, which will make the biggest difference?" And the author responded, "The single most powerful technique in this book is, I believe, cold call." Cold calling is done using E for effort's participation category. We will look deeper into this book on performance management. This textbook is primarily used in business to guide managers on how to improve employee performance and job satisfaction. As you can imagine, their recommendations are analogous to how teachers can get more from students and build positive teacher-student connections. Student effort and the PIC/NIC analysis of the consequences of behavior. What these letters stand for will be covered soon, but first let's look at a flow chart called the ABC model, which demonstrates that behavior is changed in 2 ways: by what comes before behavior, antecedents, and by what follows behavior, consequences. Consequences can also act as antecedents, or triggers for new behavior. Let's consider a school example. The antecedent is the teacher giving directions for a learning task. The behavior we want is for the students to stay focused and complete the task, in which case the consequence of the behavior is that students make gains in knowledge or skill. What do the letters stand for? The consequence of a behavior will either be positive or negative. It will occur immediately or in the future, and the consequence is either certain or uncertain to occur. Certain means there is a high probability that the consequence will occur now or in the future, but not 100% certain. Notice that the most powerful reinforcement of behavior occurs when the consequence is either positive, immediate, and certain, or negative, immediate, and certain. Later in the book, the author points out that positive reinforcement improves the supervisor-employee relationship. So for teachers, the goal is to heavily favor positive reinforcement. Here are 5 scenarios to give you practice in categorizing consequences of behavior using the PIC/NIC analysis. For example 1, the antecedent is that it starts to rain. The behavior that is triggered is the person puts up their umbrella, and the consequence is that they stay dry. Now select one term from each column to analyze the consequence of opening an umbrella when it's raining. Staying dry is positive, so that's a P, not an N. The consequence of staying dry happens immediately, equals I, not F, and it's certain to happen, assuming a functioning umbrella, so that's a C, not a U. So this example is a PIC positive, immediate, certain, which has the highest reinforcing power. For example 2, the antecedent that triggers the behavior is the amount of time that has passed since a person last checked their Instagram social media. The behavior is checking Instagram. The consequence of the behavior is finding out if any new likes have occurred. Analysis of consequence. The person finds new likes, which is positive. The consequence occurs immediately, and the consequence is certain to occur. So this example is a PIC. The behavior of checking Instagram is strongly reinforced. Notice that the behavior of checking social media is also strongly reinforced when the consequence is negative, or for this example, no new likes. For example 3, the antecedent is family members complaining about one family member's smoking habit. The behavior is that the smoker agrees to stop smoking. One of the consequences hoped for is that the ex-smoker will live longer. Analysis of consequence. Person lives longer. Living longer is positive. The consequence cannot be determined yet, so it is categorized as future. And the consequence is uncertain. The person could die from a different cause. So this is a PFU, positive future uncertain. Of course, there are other consequences of the behavior of no longer smoking that could be analyzed, but quitting to live longer has low reinforcing power. Example 4, antecedent. Teacher explains learning task or activity. The behavior we are looking for is the student stays focused on the learning task. And the hoped for consequence is that the student does well on an upcoming assessment. Analysis of consequence. Doing well on an assessment is positive. The assessment will occur in the future, and depending on the student's history with assessments, we can predict that a high test score is likely certain or likely uncertain. The results of the analysis are a PFC or a PFU, which have about 30 to 20% of the reinforcing power of a PIC, respectively. Example 5 has the same antecedent as example 4. The teacher explains a learning task or activity. The behavior is the student staying on task. The consequence is the student receives a high effort score near the end or at the end of the learning activity. This consequence is an add-on to the previous consequence of doing well on a future assessment. It's not an either-or proposition. Analysis of consequence equals PIC, positive, immediate, certain. Consider the last two examples with the following quote. A small, immediate consequence that is certain to occur, think effort scoring, is much more powerful in the behavior change process than large consequences, think grades, that occur in the future. Let's look at some examples of how E for effort benefits different types of students. Students in the Type 1 group earn D's and F's, or below basic, for standards-based grading. The summary word for these types of students is motivation. These students often start the year with hope, motivation, and strong effort, but when their efforts do not result in good or even average grades, and the academic metric is the only metric they see, they quickly become discouraged and lose motivation. With these types of students, the effort metric can be something positive to focus on, while different strategies to improve their academic success are tried. The observation that grades cause students to become disengaged is discussed in this 2015 article from the Journal of Educational Psychology titled, Do Grades Shape Students' School Engagement? The authors report that low grades may set in motion a downward spiral whereby consequent declines in engagement result in even lower grades. E for effort is a tool that educators can use to stop this downward spiral. Students in the Type 2 group earn any grade except an A, below advanced in standards-based grading. The summary word for these students is potential. How does their effort level compare to their achievement level? An effort metric along with the academic metric tells us that these types of students are underperforming. E for effort keeps families and students informed. Every score can be thought of as a text message sent to the student and to any family member attached to the account, which are called guardians. E for effort sends weekly reminders to guardians that allows them to easily view effort data from their student's portal. Students in the Type 3 group earn A's or advanced in standards-based grading. These students give low effort and are often disruptive. Having significant prior knowledge, they are confident that they will do well on summative assessments. They frequently ignore any higher-level work that is provided while disrupting their neighbors or the class in general, knowing their academic grade will not be affected. Effort metrics identify performance areas for these students to focus on and improve, and are useful in discussions with stakeholders. The summary word for Type 4 students is reliable. These types of students always work hard, comply with rules, and score high academically. Teachers understandably apply most of their in-class attention to students who are the neediest, either academically or behaviorally, and count on the reliable students to advance with less direct teacher attention. E for effort recognition of these students includes high effort scores, gold effort awards, gold challenge badges, and maximum effort shares. These recognition items are explained in PD Part 2. To close out PD Part 1, let's consider some of the main benefits of using the E for effort system to add an effort metric to the academic metric. For teachers, E for effort can replace most, if not all, of your current practices for classroom management, student motivation, and student engagement. For students, frequent recognition of student in-class effort at the time the effort occurs supports better student focus and a positive learning environment. Also, E4Effort allows students to score their own effort from their student portal, which aids in the social-emotional learning aspect of self-management. For families, 2 metrics provide a much better picture of overall student performance. Imagine how conversations change when families and students have 2 metrics to consider, and effort percentages by category. Thank you for watching PD Part 1, 2 Metrics, Academic and Effort. To learn more about how to use the E4Effort system, check out PD Part 2.